Hey guys, this is Caleb with DSLR Vedio Shooter. Today we are looking at a really cool slider, and I know I've done a lot of slider videos before and I still have more to do, but this slider out of all of them has really surprised me. I think it's quite different when you take into account all the features, how it works, and the final cost. There's not a lot of people out there doing a slider like this at the quality level and the price entry level that this slider has achieved. This slider is the Shark slider, and this is from iFootage. So let's go ahead and start with the bag. We'll work our way in. Comes with a really nice bag, has a pocket on the outside, these really nice pull tie zips. So let's go ahead and open it up here. All the way around. And I'm gonna pull the slider out and set the bag down. And here it is. Right away, you're going to notice it looks a little different than a lot of sliders out there. Most sliders have a single rail, and then there is a carriage unit that slides up and down it, uses ball bearings, friction, whatever. This one's a little different. It uses two super smooth, rather large carbon fiber tubes, and then this one is belt driven. Belt is really nice. It's so much better than ball bearing and friction because it really allows you to get smoother shots. Not only is the fall off of your slide smoother, but you're able to set up things like this down here, have a wheel or a crank, and that gives you a lot more control. So let's go ahead and put this on the tripod. See if I can make sure I get this on the right way here. And I'm just putting this on my Benro tripod here. Lock it down. And kill all of my tilt and shift and whatnot. Make sure this thing is kind of level for you guys. Awesome. You might notice that this is a little dirty, and that's because I had it out at this super cool abandoned old beat up church. So we're gonna look at some footage from the slider on that location in a little bit, and just a shout out to some friends out at F&V Gear. They let me know about this location, and it's just awesome. It's kind of the dream location for photographers and people like us. So anyway, back to the slider. So we have it here. You'll notice that the actual carriage unit itself is huge compared to the little tiny ones that are on most sliders. I really like this because it gives you a really solid base for your camera. And when it comes to sliders and other things, it's so important to have a sturdy base and something that will really stabilize the sensor. Because on our sensors, our DSLRs are very sensitive to movement. So it's really nice that they have a full-size, legit carriage unit. Like a lot of sliders, we have a lock here, and then there's the actual slide. You can see it's incredibly, incredibly smooth. And that is mainly due to the belt and then this unit right here. Not only is this kind of like a crank on the end here, but it's also a weight. And what that allows it to do is not just zip across the rails, it gives you a nice smooth, very smooth control. So very, very incredibly brilliant unit. Everything's metal, brilliant cheese plate design. So on the ends here you have a larger block, and the reason these are larger than most sliders is because it has to house that little gear that the belt wraps around. So you have two of those on each end. They are removable, and then you have the little feet on the ends. I guess if I had to say one thing I didn't like about this, it was that the feet weren't very large. For instance, when I was on this shoot and was filming at this location in this church, it would have been really nice to have much longer legs on the ends of the unit so that I could use this all the way on the ground and be able to kind of set up a shot. Because a lot of times what you'll have is, like this church, there's a lot of just garbage and dirt and everything, and so there was a specific shot I needed to get, but I couldn't move any farther forward because the floor just didn't exist right in front of me. So I had a lot of changes in elevation, so it would have been nice to have really nice long legs. But of course I understand that with that would come much bulkier ends on the end of the slider. And these ones, because they're so small, they close up really nice so that you have kind of a nice compact end on the slider. So those are the feet. So if you're looking underneath the actual unit, you have a very large tease plate for attaching quick release plates. And then you have the wheeled areas that run and kind of grip onto the slider rails. And then you'll also notice that there's a clamp for the belt. This is really nice because you can change how taut the belt is on the slider. They also have an Allen key built onto the bottom, which is super nice. Now, if you look back in your bag, they do have an option to get a bundle with this unit, which comes with extenders for the actual slider. So this will take your slider from 31 inches up to 54 inches, I believe it is. So you get these two extensions. They have nice caps on the end, so you don't get the ends dirty. And I'm really impressed with how smooth this is. So usually when you think of adding an extension like this, you're gonna run into issues with the carriage running over the joint point and it being, really bumpy. They really got their measurements right on all these pieces because there's literally no grooves left once you really snug this thing down. So that's really cool. That gives you two sliders in one, essentially. If you need to do a really long slide, you can do that, but you're not stuck with a huge slider when you only need a 31-inch slider. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach a tripod head to this thing and show you guys a couple different options for actually using the slider. And that's what's really cool about this is, typically when you're working with a slider, you hold on to the carriage or your camera itself, and then you move it back and forth. But you have a couple different ways to do it on this particular slider. First of all, obviously you have the standard moving it with your hand using the carriage, but you also have this fantastic weight on the end. And what I found works best is just putting your finger or two fingers on the top of this weight and then just slowly spinning it around. You can achieve perfect slides. It's really nice, and that's probably the biggest thing. I never really liked sliders, and the reason for that is I couldn't really get a perfectly smooth slide shot. So the reason for that was, I'm just not a very accurate person when it comes to moving an object by hand. So this really allowed a person like me, who's not the steadiest when it comes to things like sliders and jibs, to really achieve beautifully smooth shots. And the same goes for when you're just using, holding the actual carriage or your camera and moving it. I found that I could get much smoother shots doing it on this slider than other sliders, and the reason for that is this belt and weight combination. It really allows you to get these gorgeous smooth shots with a nice fall off. So when you let go, it gradually comes to a stop instead of just flying to the end of your slider. Because every slider is a little different. There's a lot of ones out there that are super zippy. There are some that are a little too stiff. So it really depends on each slider, but this one allows you to get the best of both worlds. And obviously changing the tautness of your belt is also going to affect that. So now finally, let's talk about the price of this slider. It, I think, is very affordable when you consider all the features you're getting and the quality of this slider. The slider starts at just under $600. And I think the best way to kind of compare this for people is this is pretty much, in my mind, up there with Kessler Crane's sliders. The only difference is you're going to find this a lot more affordable than a lot of their sliders with the same features. So now I'm going to leave you with some footage that I got with this slider at this amazing old church out in Indiana, and I will see you guys next time.